Seize your glory! Hey guys, it's the Black Critic Guy, and I'm here today to review the movie 300: The Force of a Sequel. 300: Rise of an Empire. So 300: Rise of an Empire actually takes place during and a little bit after the events of 300, as we follow this Athenian by the name of Themistocles as he faces off with the Persian forces in navy battles. That's pretty much the movie. Now, I'm not gonna lie when I say that I wasn't really looking forward to seeing this film. It just felt like a forced sequel to cash in on the 300 brand. That's really what the film felt like. But how does the movie stand as a sequel? I wasn't disappointed because I didn't have any expectations for the film, but at the same time, I wasn't really surprised at what they did with the film. It was just But I will say that there were two major aspects that I really appreciated from this film. First off, this wasn't a copy-paste version of the first film, 300. It wasn't a bunch of guys on land fighting it out with the Persians. I appreciate that they tried something new. And kind of adding off of the first one, the second thing that I really appreciated was that they showed a different aspect to the fight against Persia, the sea battles. Yes, it was really cool to hear about Leonidas and the 300 facing off with Xerxes and his army on land, but what about the sea battles? They were also pivotal in crushing the Persian threat, and I really loved how they focused that, or they put the focus on the sea battles here in the sequel. Now, as for the action, it was pretty fucking brutal. Really brutal, but they were entertaining when they were on screen, and yes, they do use a lot of slow-mo, but you come to expect it. It's a 300 film. I really enjoyed watching the sea battles and how they all unfolded. It was very intricate and very interesting, and say what you will about Themistocles, but that guy is an excellent strategist. He knows how to use the environment to his advantage. And the last good thing I will talk about is the acting. Nobody did a terrible job. Everyone did a relatively good job. There weren't really a lot of standout performances. The closest thing to a standout performance is Eva Green as kind of like the main antagonist to Themistocles. That's the only person that really stood out in this entire movie. Though it was really good to see Lena Headey and Faramir back in this film. And Lena Headey actually got to partake in the battle. She actually threw down and she was badass. And as for the guy who played Themistocles, he did okay. He didn't really stand out as a leader, but we're gonna get to that soon. But as for his performance, he wasn't terrible, he wasn't wooden, he did a relatively good job. Now we get into the things I really didn't like about the film, and first off, the CGI. It has not held up. How can it be that its predecessor that came out 7 years ago looks 10 times better and more visually appealing than the film that came out this year? Mind-boggling. The worst part about it is actually the CGI blood. It looks so cartoony and fake. It took me out of the movie, honestly. The first time I saw somebody get cut open and their blood squirted out, I was just like, are we in Toontown? Is that... What? Seriously, did they not have the money to make the blood a teeny bit more realistic or even more gritty? As much as the story is based on historical events and does follow it faithfully to a degree, the writing of the story, though, is very weak. And you know why? Because Zack Snyder picked up a pencil and said, I'm gonna write a screenplay again. Remember the last time he wrote a screenplay? Yeah, we don't talk about that film anymore. Stick to directing, Zack Snyder. You are not a strong screenwriter. And you could definitely see it with the lack of character development and weak dialogue among the characters. Yeah, I know the script from the original wasn't that great either, but at least it was memorable. It had lines that still resonate with us 7 years after its release. Nothing in this entire film is ever memorable, from the dialogue to the characters. And therein lies my biggest problem. I can forgo the bad writing, I can forgo the lack of character development, and I can forgo the fact that they do cling on the original's coattail. I just wanted it to be a fun and memorable movie. and it was not that. The coolest thing that this movie did was at the end of the film where they did this whole one-take action shot that was pretty cool to see. But you had to sit through an hour and 30 minutes to get to that point, and one cool shot does not equate a good movie. Now let's talk about Themistocles. I honestly did not like him as a leader. Now, I actually talked to one of my friends, his name is Matt, who is a big history buff when it comes to things like this, and he said that Themistocles' representation in this film was very accurate to who Themistocles was in real life. He wasn't really a charismatic leader, he was just a by the numbers, get it done type of leader, and they do show that in this film. But it doesn't make for a very interesting or enticing character. And okay, Themistocles is not as charismatic as a leader like Leonidas was. Then let's take a different approach to this character that makes him empathetic, sympathetic, or relatable to a sense that we can attach him. Let's make him someone memorable without having to copy off of Leonidas. They could have done that. They could have developed his character to the point where he is really cool without having to be as charismatic. But honestly, they didn't do any of that. They just, man, I do my duty and that's it. That's how his character came off. And kind of going hand in hand with the story and writing, I don't understand why we needed to see a backstory of Xerxes as he rose to power and this other girl that's kind of like his main chick in the movie. I didn't really care about their backstory. I didn't need to see their backstory, and honestly, it just felt like a way to copy off the first film, how, we showed Leonidas as a kid and as he grew up to this strong warrior. It just felt like, oh, this is Xerxes before he became the God King. You don't need it. And the last thing that really irritated me was the lens of the camera. I mean, it was either so smudgy, like someone just had a big ass greasy burger, bit into it, and then started rubbing it on the screen like, and action, or it was like there's little drizzles of water on it, or it's so bright. Whoever was handling the lenses, you did a terrible job. Wash your goddamn hands. Or at least clean the lens, man. I mean, it was so smudgy that it distracted from the scene. So overall, although there were some entertaining elements to the film, like some of the action scenes were pretty cool to watch, especially the sea battles, it was more historically accurate to what really went down, and some of the characters and acting were pretty good. It just doesn't come off as memorable, and kinda, I didn't really care for the movie that much, but I won't deny that I did have some fun with it. So, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's okay. If you don't see 300 Rise of an Empire, no one's gonna get mad at you, I promise you. They will more or less tell you to watch 300 than to watch 300 Rise of an Empire. But anyway, what did you guys think about this film? Did you really like it? Or did you find it boring and just a rehash of the first film? And let me know, what is your favorite Greek historical film? Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be having my monthly live chat finally. Sorry for the delay. I had a lot of technical problems last week, but I'm coming back in full swing with a new webcam, so it's gonna be one hell of a show. And also I have a review for Mr. Peabody and Sherman coming soon, and hopefully the Grand Budapest Hotel. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Wilder II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.